And we're back. Alright, I'm gonna ask one more time. Do any of you know anything about Zero? They were all silent, each person waiting to hear what the others would say. Finally, Santa spoke. Actually, I saw him. I saw Zero when I got grabbed. Didn't see his face, though. Son of a bitch was wearing some kind of gas mask. What the hell? Come on, guys, give me something. You know, like surprise or something? Instead, it was Santa who looked surprised. Welcome back to Hello, Death Lotus. There was a moment of silence, and then everyone spoke at once. Yeah, I saw him too. Me too. He was wearing a gas mask. As stories were sorted out and the truth became clear, all of their stories were the same. They had been abducted at home at midnight. The person claiming to be Zero had worn a mask. There had been white smoke, and then each person had passed out. When they awoke, they had found themselves on D-Deck in a room of a 3-level bunk bed. I had some orange juice with ice. That sounds good. Unfortunately, I have to avoid fruit juices. Which sucks. I like fruit juices. I especially like apple juice. Only 7 stories seemed to lack the detail of the others. Oh, me? Yeah, well, mine was just like the rest of yours. That was all he said. It had occurred to Junpei at the time that it sounded somewhat strange, but he didn't press the issue. He hadn't done so, because there was something that struck him as even stranger. There was the mystery of the relationship between Snake and Clover. For some reason, they'd been abducted from the same room, and woken up in the same room. Junpei looked at them thoughtfully. So, what's the deal with the two of you, anyway? It was Clover that answered. Sorry, I had to grab my notepad, because everything in this game requires notes. Clearly, she felt she had nothing to hide. We're siblings. Siblings? Yes? Snake is my older brother, obviously. That means I'm his little sister. That's really so hard to understand? Junpei was taken aback. The others seemed just as surprised. She is correct, of course. He laid his hand on Clover's shoulder. Are you surprised? Well, yeah, but... Why? There are other people here with connections to one another. Those two, for instance. Snake pointed at Junpei and June. Oh, you mean Jumpy and me? Yes. He where Snake winks up in his own room and freaking dies. Ah, yes, you did say you were childhood friends, didn't you? You went to school together? Yeah. June glanced at Junpei, uncomfortable with the sudden attention. Junpei felt somewhat nervous as well and tried to scratch his head as casually as possible. Hey, you think maybe we could figure out who Zero is this way? Yeah, you're right. You connect the dots between the victims, and that leads to the perp. Textbook stuff. Are you a cop, Seven? Junpei, June, does any of this ring a bell? Ring a bell? Ring a bell? They looked at one another, and like it was staged, they both tilted their neck at the same time. Well, perhaps you went to school with the son of a multi-millionaire? A millionaire? Son? Well, somebody bought this boat and set up all of this. Whoever Zero is, they must be incredibly rich. Well, we can't be sure of that. To me, this seems as though it's the work of an organization, not an individual. Zero's most likely simply a representative of a larger group. What sort of organization? It could be a number of things. An army, perhaps, or a research group. Perhaps this is all some sort of psychological experiment. If it is, then it's a pretty fucked up experiment. I mean, come on, a guy's dead! Please stop reminding us of that! The word dead hung in the air, heavy and ominous. The room went quiet again. I don't know who the hell this Zero asshole is, but I know for sure he's gotta be pretty fucked up in the head to do all this. It was all one guy, then he's got some serious issues. Even with the specter of death hanging over them, their discussion continued for some time. You guys are wasting so much time! Look, yes, compiling information between everybody is cool. However, you could be doing that in the room where you're trying to escape in the next room, because that's not the way out. You need to do several things. There, to the ring-a-bell business. The inspector's death hanging over them, discussion continued for a long time. In the end, however, they learned nothing. And more time has passed! The time they finished, 1.5 of their 9 hours were gone. All they had to show for it was impatience. Man, Look, we only got 7.5 hours left, okay? Who says that? You say 7.5. You really just want to... Sure you just want to sit around? No one was willing to argue this time. Very well, then. There's only one way for us to proceed. Sure not gonna be fun running around knowing we gotta jump when Zero says jump. Well, it sounds like it's stupid to just sit around here doing nothing. Thanks to Snake's card, at least we have some idea of how this all works. Correct. And so long as we follow the rules, we should, it'll most likely be alright. But what? Who's going in which door? June looked towards the numbered doors. You're exchanging information what seems like an eternity. That too. Look, I can do it too. Oh yeah, that's right. We can't have more than 5 people in one door. All 8 of us can't go in the same door. Then it would seem we have to split up. But wait! Lotus looked terrified. I'm telling you now, there's no way in hell that I'm going into door 5. Come on now, don't be selfish. Call me whatever the hell you want, I'm not going in there. If I'm going to have to walk through all that blood, then I'd rather stay here. And we were doing so well. Ace shook his head sadly. Sorry, but I ain't going in there either. Someone else can go into door 5. Oh, Santa, not you too. Alright, so that's Clover and Santa. I'm sorry, not Clover, that's Lotus and Santa. So 8 and 3 are going to be going into 4. Shit, we should have walked faster. Hey man, I just bought these shoes. If you think I'm getting some creepy dude's blood all over him, you got another thing coming. Typo. Good job, game. Oh well, that happens. That was the last straw. What the hell, man? Weren't you the one who kept saying we should get going? Yeah, so? Doesn't mean like I wanted to go to door 5. Oh god. There's an awkward silence. Finally, 7 spoke. Fine, I'll go into door 5. I can't go in there alone, though. Alright, 5 is 7. Anyone else willing to come with me? There's another long silence. This time Snake was the one to break it. I'll go. But what? Don't worry, you'll be fine. We may part now, but I'm sure we'll meet again later. So he intends to separate from her, which means 4 will be going into 4, and Snake going into 5. How do you know that? Because I do. That's not an answer! If you're going, I'm going too! I'm going into door 5! What am I going to do with you? There's nothing you have to do. Alright, so 4 is going to 5. He stepped forward. If I join you, the problem's solved, right? Another think coming, I spotted that too. Yeah. 7 is 7, and Snake is 2. Now if you add Clover's 4, and my 1, the digital root will be 5. Alright, so 7, 2, 1, okay, so we need 5, so me, 6. Does the digital root of the rest work? I mean, it's gonna tell me, obviously. It does, okay. It would be 22. Oh, it works perfectly! The 4 of us can go to door 5. Wait, what about the other 4? What's their digital root gonna be? Junpei did quick mental calculation. Lotus, Santa, June, and Junpei remained. Their bracelet numbers were 8, 3, 6, and 5. 8, 3, 6, 5. What would their digital root be? It would be 4. He repeated what he determined. It's 4. Add up our 4 bracelet numbers and digital root is 4. Then we can go into door 4. Yeah. Huh, that worked out well. Junpei ran over the team assignments in his head one more time. 4 people would go into door 5. 7, Snake, Clover, and Ace. 4 people would go into door 4. Lotus, Santa, June, and Junpei. Junpei had to ask himself if the teams were what he really wanted. Beyond door 5 was what remained of the 9th man. He never wanted to see that thing again, but something in him said it would be unwise not to examine the corpse even a little closer. Of course, he went through door 5. He wouldn't be able to be going along with Lotus and Santa. It would be possible for him to bring June with him to door 5, but that would mean she would have to see the horrific carnage that waited there. Junpei didn't want that. Junpei was torn. Should he stay silent, go through door 4, or should he stop them all and insist on going through door 5? As he turned the options over and over in his mind, Ace spoke up. Alright then. It seems we've reached a conclusion. Shall we go? Are you trying to get the kappa on the face? He began to walk toward door 5. Clover and Snake followed, with 7 a short distance behind. Junpei. Hold on. I really don't want June to have to go with me to door 5, but I really want to go to door 5. I need to examine that body. There's something suspicious about this bomb and how it worked. I just know it. But if I go that way, it ruins their digital route. I'm trying to determine exactly who would go in each one if I chose to go to door 5. 6, 10, 12, 19. So digital route with that. It sucks, but I gotta. Hey, wait! Junpei's cry echoed across the room. The 4 people walking towards the door stopped and turned back toward him. I want to go through door 5 too. The words were scarcely out of his mouth when June spoke up. What? What are you saying, Junpei? If you're going through that door, I'm going with you. He turned around to look at her. No, you can't. I can't take you with me. Why? Where? Well, you know what's in there, don't you? Are you sure you want to see that? June opened her mouth as if to say something, but instead closed it again and looked at the floor. Junpei felt an ache in his chest after her clear distress, but the choice was not his to make. There was nothing else he could do. Junpei turned away from June, doing his best to silence his turbulent emotions. Please, let me go to door 5. Seven scratched his head and looked at the young man. Man, now we're right back where we started, you know that? Junpei's bracelet number is 5, right? I missed her face. If you're going to add Junpei, then you must subtract 5 from the rest of us. Snake turned to Ace. Ace, please take good care of Clover. Oh, alright. Well, that's also part of the suspicion I have, Kirby. I don't think he survived. They described his body pretty clearly, actually. We haven't seen the body, but they did, and the face was definitely seeable. So, I don't suspect it's the fake body. Muffled spoilers. Oh, alright, that's fine. Don't go away! You need to listen to me, Clover. Go to door 4 with the others. No! Don't be so selfish. Snake's tone was harsh. Tears welled up in Clover's eyes. She bit her lip and did her best to fight them off. Snake's expression softened. He put his arms around Clover. He held her close and whispered into her ear. You'll be fine. Just relax. It looked as though he whispered 2 or 3 more words, but whatever they were, Junpei didn't hear them. He couldn't help but wonder what the other man had said. Snake pulled back from his sister, his eyes kind and inquiring. Okay, I understand. Her voice was barely audible from where Junpei stood. Before long, new teams were assembled. Those going to door 5, 7, Snake, and Junpei. Those going to door 4, Lotus, Santa, June, Ace, and Clover. Seven, Snake, and Junpei scanned their numbers bracelets in quick succession. The screen of the red showed... They actually described the face a lot. Part of the face was crushed on the wall, and the other half of his face was covered in blood. So it's possible it's not identifiable, but it's not entirely impossible. It's definitely... So it's possible that he's not identifiable, but it's unlikely, I think. The screen in the red showed 3 asterisks. Alright then, let's go. Junpei glanced around one last time, his hand resting on the lever of the red. Okay. Please be careful. Concern was written plainly on her face. Junpei looked her in the eye and gave what he hoped was a reassuring nod. He pulled the lever. Puzzle stuff together doesn't have to do with math. Amen to that. With the sharp clack of the lock releasing, the door swung open. Ahead of them in the small hallway was the pitiful remains of the ninth man. For a moment, Junpei froze. Try as he might, his eyes could not leave the corpse. His feet would not leave the floor. 7-2 seemed paralyzed. Snake, on the other hand, seemed unconcerned. He walked calmly down the bloody hallway, only stopped when he realized his companions were not following. You really dislike Lotus? Really? I don't have too much of a problem with her. She's being fairly logical. I mean, not wanting to go through the demands of someone who's trapped you in this situation makes sense, and then not wanting it. I can really relate to her not wanting to go into door 5, because me personally, I have a fear of dead bodies, which I found out in anatomy class in college. Not the time you want to find out you have that phobia, by the way. So I can really relate with her not wanting to go through 5. So I have no problem with her, personally. It only stopped when he realized his companions were not following. Do you intend to kill me? I assume you haven't forgotten the door only remains open for 9 seconds, have you? He hadn't even bothered to turn around. His head was, at most, slightly cocked toward one shoulder. Junpei and Seven looked at each other, nodded, and threw themselves through the door. As they did, a cold tone sounded from the left wrist of all 3 men. Seven and Junpei looked down at their bracelets. On both of them, on Snake's, a red skull had flickered to life. It looks more pink. A detonator had begun its countdown. It had scarcely processed the information when... The metallic slam, the numbered door behind them swung shut. Unless they could find the device that would deactivate the detonators on their wrists, they would not be leaving the hallway. Hey! Where's the dead? The fear and urgency in Seven's face reflected what all 3 of them felt. Junpei spun around, searching desperately for the dead. He found it easily enough. It was on the wall next to the closed door labeled 5. Found it! Right here! As he yelled, he struck the scanner with his hand. The other 2 scrambled to follow suit. As soon as they finished, Snake threw the lever down. To be honest, I disliked her costume. Oh, well, I mean... Yeah, they probably could have given her more clothes. I don't know what the history behind the character is supposed to be, as in, like, why they designed her that specifically, or in-game what the history of the character is. Maybe they'll come up with some extra justification at some point, but it's a bit more scantily clad than it needs to be. I'll agree. Phew. Well, it looks like it stopped. As he spoke, Junpei wiped the sweat from his forehead with a trembling hand. Goddamn thing's gonna give me a heart attack. Hey, then you would have 0 heart rate when the heart attack killed you, and you could get it off. A muscle stood out in Seven's neck, and the corners of his mouth were twitching. Junpei, are you alright? Are you guys okay? They could hear anxious voices, muffled but distinct, on the other side of the door. Where's the dead? All over the hall. Weren't you paying attention? Damn, you guys both get the same joke. Nice job. I can appreciate that kind of humor. Yeah, we're fine. The detonators have been deactivated. They heard relieved sighs, and even though through the door, the 3 men could feel the tension disperse. Yeah, right. We're moving on. You know, before we do that, we should tell them exactly where we found the dead, so they don't go into a panic, and when they go through the door, they know exactly where it's probably going to be. Beat you to pointing out that I beat you to the joke. Be careful, okay? Okay. Sure thing. They heard footsteps moving away, and before long they were alone again. Junpei looked around. The hallway hit the dead end 20 or 30 feet from where they stood. A thick iron wall blocked their way. Try as they might to force it, the wall refused to move. To the left, however, was a wooden door that looked positively inviting by comparison. Sonic the Hedgehog theme plays. Do you mean the one from when he's drowning? Because that's totally what I would play if that time was going out. In the middle of it was a plaque that read, First Class. First class cabin, huh? Well, it seems like it. Let's have a look at it then, shall we? Without hesitation, Snake opened the door and stepped inside. Seven followed closely behind him. Junpei moved to follow them as well, but he stopped just short of the threshold and looked back, not knowing why. We need to examine the body, and I'm gonna hate it. The dead is in a different place in door 4, but the characters wouldn't know that. Oh, interesting. Lying in the small hallway was a man's body, at least what was left of it. He tried hard to avoid looking at the grisly scene, but it just wouldn't leave his mind. Oh, Kirby. It's a part of the story. Apparently, the water stopped coming in. When Zero said that there's 9 hours left, everybody went to go check the water, and it totally stopped. Decks A through C is what we can travel on, but Deck D is now submerged in water. But it, like, glassy surface and everything. You did miss an hour. Yeah, I have no problem filling you in. What had once been a man's internal organs now looked like so much vomit. What had once been the man's internal organs now looked like vomit, as though somebody had chewed up and spit out the better part of his torso. It was hideous. Worse still, it was cruel. It was hard to believe the thing on the floor had once been human. A black pool of thick blood, the lumps of glistening flesh spread across the floor. The awkward, twisted tangle of shredded intestines. The head wrenched to some grotesque unnatural position. The man's glasses lay next to his head. The lenses were cracked, and the frame bent and distorted. Next to the glasses lay a bracelet, number 9 still displayed on his face. Lastly, let's discuss how to remove the bracelets. Only 2 ways to do so. 1, you escape from this ship. 2, the haunt rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or next the wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically. Totally gonna show the body? I think that's as close as we're gonna get. Suddenly, Junpei felt his stomach convulse and a knot of muscle gripped his throat. He clapped his hands over his mouth and ran to the first-class cabin. The atmosphere changed immediately. The room was gorgeous, and despite the apparent age of the ship, none the worse for wear. He looked around. Seven and Snake were nowhere to be seen. There were 2 doors on the right side of the room. He opened the one on his right and went through. I will be right back. I have to make sure the animals aren't, like, ruining the house. I'm back. Sorry about that. My parents' dog was playing with a plastic bag. Can't let that happen. No, no, no. The game never directly shows body. There's actually one exception to that? Okay. On the other side of the door was a short hallway. Jogged down the hallway, opened the door at the other end, and peeked through. There they were, on to the right, busy examining something. Oh, Sir Matt, that'd be super nice for you to do, for any viewer in chat, if that happens. Godot! Holy shit, hi Godot! I'm totally cool with Sir Matt saying, like, if someone in chat is like, I'm really squeamish about bodies, and he whispers to them, there's a body behind that door, don't do it to me. Like I said, I do have a fear of dead bodies, but only real dead bodies. Ones in game, not so much. I'm cool with that. I do appreciate the concern about spoilers, Godot, but as long as we are specific, I'm cool with that sort of thing. If someone asks to be whispered to. And it seems like Mennonite Kirby's okay with it. There they were, to the right, busy examining something, stepped through the door and walked toward them. What's up? Check this out. We found this thing here on the door. The red light's on. Does that mean it's locked? So I would assume. Is there any other way out? We looked around a little. Other than this door, we can't find anything. So you're telling me that unless we can open this door, yes, we won't be going anywhere. Junpei stepped out from the door and looked around the room. The room they were in looked like a bedroom. He figured the door he'd originally entered was the living room, or whatever passed for one on the ship. Alright, we found a way to open this door. 99 is very spoilerable. Yeah, I kind of get that impression. Come on, guys. Alright, so here's our next locked room. Seek a way out. First class cabin. Alright. Now, what we learned from the last locked room is I have to look absolutely goddamn everywhere. So, click everything. A white desk. Feels kind of fancy. Alright. Obviously, something under the pillow. A score plate A. It has musical notes on it. And it mirrors if you look at it up backwards. I see. It feels like glass. Rectangular plate of glass. Is there something written on the surface? Yeah, it's a sheet of music with a couple of A notes. Just A's. Yeah, that's it. Kinda weird, huh? It took Junpei by surprise. Snake, usually so calm and collected, suddenly began to move. He stared about the room, almost frantically, clearly looking for something. No, Junpei thought, not staring. After all, he's blind. Blind or not, Snake was clearly attempting to do something. At last, Junpei could no longer contain his curiosity. What are you doing? Snake waited a moment before answering. I heard something strange. Something strange? Oh well, never mind. It doesn't seem to be anything suspicious. I don't wish to toot my own horn. My auditory senses are considerably more advanced than those of most humans. I notice even the slightest of noises. Right. Are you going to tell me you can hear a needle drop from a mile away? Ah, no. Such a thing would be impossible. However, by listening to the sound of footsteps and breathing, as well as the sound echoing off the environment, I can locate most objects. You legit have echolocation? That's kind of cool. Oh yeah, that's right. When Clover fell in the big staircase a little while ago, you were right at her side immediately. So that was... Yes, I could hear it happening. In fact, I can run quite fast, certainly as fast as you. And should someone attempt to start a fight with me, I'm quite confident I could defeat them. Junpei was somewhat taken aback by this revelation. He stared at Snake, skeptical. You don't believe me, do you? Care to give me a try? I must warn you, you'll no doubt regret it. Well, I suppose that's enough playing around. Let's resume our search, shall we? With a small, self-satisfied smile, Snake turned away and walked away from Junpei. A bed with a canopy. Seems like these things in movies and stuff, but never in real life. True, you don't see too many these days. I can't see the details, obviously, but I imagine it's one of those princess beds Clover is so fond of. Clover wants one of these? Yes. She wants a princess bed. Didn't I say that? You think it doesn't suit her? Yeah, I guess you could say that. Ah, Junpei. Judge her by appearances, will you? And where you should not. Alright, so large bed with canopy, madness makes me miss my own bed, and sleep. So, clicking things more than once does give different descriptions. Nothing under the pillow. Okay. I forgot about that. Let's look at the door itself. So this is the locking thing. It's flashing red. That's usually not a good sign. Is that a microphone? It looks like a satellite dish. Let me see. Well, judging by the feel of it, I would guess that we are meant to produce some sort of sound. And this device will sense it and unlock. Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Having a blind person is going to give us a very interesting perspective on the puzzles, and I hope he gives us some interesting insights. Sort of lock, apparently, it's connected to the microphone. Doesn't look like there's a keyhole in the door. True, but there's some strange device in lieu of one. 7 hasn't said anything yet, but I don't think he's in this room. I think he went to a different room. Small chair, looks like probably goes to the vanity. Did I check the vanity? Yeah, white desk. Feels kind of fancy. Alright, mirror. It's totally a table with a mirror. Oh yes, the other sort of thing is known as a vanity. Were you aware of that, Junpei? Wait, then the chair's supposed to be in front of that. Of course. Vanity also refers to self-love, conceit, and narcissism. As such, you could say that every day when a woman looks into one of these, she is staring at her own conceit and narcissism. Doesn't that strike you as terribly sad? The judgment that when people look at themselves, it's conceit and narcissism does. Ooh, is this a map of the Titanic? What's this? This isn't a score. Is this a map of the ship? A map? There's a map of the ship here? Yeah, and I imagine it will prove very helpful. You best hold on to it, Junpei. Okay. It's now possible to use the map screen. Map screen. Map screen can only be viewed during the story sections. It is entirely different in function from the bird's eye view mode. While on the map screen, you can examine the map of the ship's floor plan, which will acquire over the course of the story. Touch the menu to open it up, and touch the map while in the menu, and you'll be taken to the map screen. While there, you can scroll around the floor plan with the control pad or the stylus. Touching the green parts of the floor pan will allow you to see a bird's eye view for that room. An upright piano. From the feel of the wood, it must be quite old. A piano keyboard. What is Snape doing? He can't play, can he? This piano. There's something amiss with the keys. You mean it's out of tune or something? Oh no, not that. It's properly tuned, just... Well, the sounds are clearly purposefully different. The C key doesn't use a C, rather a different note entirely. What's this? Get my notebook back out. The same goes for the D keys. They play some other note. Huh, why do you think it's like that? Isn't it plainly obvious? Zero modified it in some way. This piano, you see, is part of one of the puzzles Zero has set for us. That's when we play the keys in the correct order. Something will happen. In other words, we need to play a song on the piano. I believe so. Alright. Sure doesn't see pianos like this nowadays. Alright, we have the A key sheet. But the fact that it's like a glass thing, a window, there's an iron plate nailed to it. Let's go through this door. It's a light switch. Nothing happens when I press it. Really? Interesting. This is some sort of antique desk. Makes sense though, I guess. This whole place is full of antiques. You can get a handful of cash for all the stuff in here. Somebody spent a lot of time carving the legs of this chair. It's snapped like a twig if Seven sits in it though. Mind your own business. There's a couple of lights on the wall here. Nothing on the walls. Obviously something on the desk. It's a heavy piece of paper that's been folded in half. It has score written on the front of it. Score? That's gotta be musical score. If that's true, then the score we just found is probably in here. At least at some point. There's a cover for a musical score sitting on the table. Score on the paper. We're not gonna take it? It's a chair. Thanks, Seven! I guess you put a sheet of music in it. Alright, well, I have score plate set, so I should be using it, so that means I'm not supposed to do this yet. Oh dear. Huh? There's something in the back. Let's see if I can reach it. Just a little... God damn it, that's hot! You aren't real smart, are you? Come on, of course it's gonna be hot, it's a fire. Even a monkey knows he shouldn't stick his hand in a fire. Alright, so I need a way to put out the fire. And there's the score paper. The couch looks like big enough for 3 people. Looks perfect for me. What? Perfect for an elegant gentleman like myself. Couch looks a lot more elegant. Hey, there's something you ain't saying. Never mind. Alright, so we need a way to put out the fire. Hey, Junpei, where are you going? Can we come out of that door? No point in going back there. Well, it's out there, a locked numbered door, and a dead body. Or what's left of it. Yeah. Alright, so we won't be going through that door. The vase. I get it. You're gonna use that vase, right? That's pretty clever, Junpei. Gotta fill this thing with water. Alright, search. Looks like a vase. Maybe you could use that. Nothing? Okay. So we need to find some water. Which door? Why'd you zoom in on this door, game? You're trying to tell me something. Oh, that's why. The suitcase made of leather in the color of rich mahogany. Well, shit. Looks like there's nothing in it. There's a leather suitcase. Dang, nothing in here. Another score sheet? Score plate, G. Combine... No? Okay. It's a rectangular piece of glass. You can see right through it. Got a couple of G notes written on it. Huh, wonder what that means. Choo-choo-choo! Guess we're leaving. Anything else? We have a lot of blood out there. We don't need water. That is grim. I like it. Oh no. Figuring out the layout of these doors is gonna be... Ah, here we go. Okay, there's more suitcases. Another suitcase, nothing inside. I can tell by the weight, it makes no noise when shaken. Oopsies, I didn't mean to do that. So there's suitcase. Fortunately, nothing inside. And there's another plate. Score plate C. Yes, well. This feels like glass. Take a piece of glass, transparent I assume. I can feel something printed on the surface. What is it? A sheet of music with some neat C notes on it. So it is actually Batman by the sound of it. Is that a Batman voice I'm giving him? Alright, well those don't combine. If I search this... Okay, so he says the same thing, made of glass, it's got music staff and a couple of G notes on it, but nothing else. Gee. If I search this with you around... A vase? Where'd you find this? Over in the kitchen. Let's see. Well, I suppose that might be useful for bludgeoning 7 over the head. That's not what we're using it for. Why did you go there first? Why did you go to that place first? The safe is locked. It's one of them dial locks. Doesn't have a key. We just need to get the dials in the right place and it'll open. Did you find anything, 7? Nope. How about you, Snake? I also found nothing. You have really good hearing. Can you do it, Snake? Dial lock, we won't be able to open it until we know the right numbers. Oh, and I'm not paying attention to where I'm putting the screens. So, you know, I think it might be better to do it this way, just so you guys know where I'm clicking better. I went through there, so it's through here. Ooh, a bathroom. Lights, huh? Nope, doesn't look like there's anything hidden here. Testing, testing. Hey, it's great to see you all here. I just flew in from New York, and boy, are my arms tired. Yes, thank you, I'll be here all week. Try the veal. That's not a mic, 7. It's just a shower head. What? What the hell? You really thought it was a mic? Okay, sure. And there we are in the mirror. What a pair. A college kid and a terrifying giant of a man in a beanie. Stuck in a cramped bathroom. With this beast of a man. What would my parents say? That they support your decisions, hopefully? Huh? Something wrong, Junpei? You look real sad all of a sudden. Snake and Batman, and there's a crossover I want to see. Oh, no, nothing. Well, the sink's clean. Any water? Nothing's coming out. We got a faucet on all the way, but I can't hear anything. This has water, though. Bet the code is 9, knowing 0 guy. Bathtub's full of gross, cloudy water. Alright, shouldn't be too hard to fill this vase up. Hey, it's filled with water. Let's pour it all out. Pour. No? That's not how we do this? Okay. Alright, well, we have that. Huh? This faucet is really hard to turn. Man, doesn't matter how hard I yank on it, it won't budge. Hard for you to turn, kid? How about you let a man give it a shot? Damn it, nothing. Might as well be a damn rock. Looks like something's holding that knob in place. Well, if you can't do it, 7, guess we might as well give up. There's that. The plug on the end of this chain. Alright, why don't we just drain all this water? Yeah, good plan. Alright, where's that thing? Good tug ought to be enough to get it out. Huh? Aha! Another one! A transparent plate made of glass, yes? There's sheet music with a couple of D notes on it. Alright, we have A, G, D, C. Can any of these combine? No. Alright. Let's not combine them then. There's nothing in the bathtub anymore. Did it stop pouring water? This faucet isn't going to be producing water anytime soon. It's impossible to turn the knob. Oh, it didn't have water pouring. That was just me mistaking the drain. Got it. Disappear. Back into here. Oopsies. Wrong thing to click. Cover musical score. There we go. Alright, time to put this fire out. About time, buddy. Let's do it. Here we go. Haha, good job. Another success. The fire doesn't stand a chance. Alright, I'll just pull this out now. Don't want to get burned, so pull down the sleeves. Score plate. Combining doesn't work. Let's search it then. AGDC. I don't know much about music anymore. Assuming you made a word at the end. Tughands is a strange liquid you know nothing about. That's also true. Ceramic plate of some kind. Looks like a blank sheet of music. As Junpei tucked the plate into his pocket, Seven cried out and stumbled, his balance lost. He threw out one hand and caught the wall in time to steady himself and avoid the floor. His face flushed and he looked startled. Actually, I thought of that, Sir Matt, and I was like, oh damn, the door closed behind us, right. Hey Seven, what the hell was that? Are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. I just felt a little dizzy, that's all. Seven rubbed a couple of fingers across his brow and then shook his head as if to clear it. What the hell's wrong with me? First memory loss, now I'm getting dizzy for no reason? Memory loss? Junpei couldn't hide his surprise in his voice. Or his face, probably. Seven, for his part, seemed unconcerned. Right, guess I haven't told you, have I? Told the rest of them, but that must have been before you showed up. Well, the long and short of it is that I don't remember Jack from before I woke up here. Didn't realize I hadn't told you. Whoa, wait a minute. You're talking about amnesia, right? Yeah, I guess so. Well, why are you amnesiac? What happened to you? If I knew that, I wouldn't really be one, would I? Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Junpei paused for a moment and stared at Seven. I guess we'll switch back screens since we're dialogue heavy right now. Are you telling the truth? Huh? Well, you look pretty calm for someone who doesn't remember anything. If you really got amnesia, shouldn't you be, like, upset or confused or something? Well, sure, I mean, I was pretty confused when I woke up on T-Tech. That was a while ago. I've had some time to get used to it. After a while, I figured it wasn't worth the trouble of worrying about it. After all, why worry about something I can't change? Well, people usually don't stay amnesiacs forever. I figured it'll work itself out eventually. That's it? That's it. What a twist! Alright, that's enough talking for now. Let's get back to work. Seven gave Junpei a look that younger man wasn't sure how to interpret and turned to walk away. Somehow Junpei didn't find the reassurance very reassuring. Alright, back to the other screens. We're gonna move on to this thing. It says score on the paper. I guess you put a sheet music in it. So I still haven't found something. Which means look around more carefully, Haven. No. There's a suitcase, nothing inside. There's a suitcase, nothing inside. Nothing else on the walls or anything? No? Okay. Let's go back to the room with the combination. Or not the combination, I mean the Oh! A bathroom! I didn't find this. There's some toilet paper on the wall there. Nothing that looks suspicious. Open it up. It's a toilet. Doesn't seem to be anything in the toilet or in the tank. Oh well, they checked the tank. Good. Because I meant to check the tank. They wouldn't just have an empty room for no reason, though. Nothing strange going on here. So something is up. There's something on the toilet. Some toilet dispenser. Toilet paper on the dispenser on the wall. Toilet. Nothing suspicious here. Nope. It keeps. Junpei, look. There's a hand coming out of the toilet. Just a joke there, kid. Not funny, man. I'm too old for this shit. Incontinence is a problem many older men struggle with, but there's help. I like it. Not buying it either. Amnesia is just awfully convenient for someone who doesn't want to talk. It's also possible. I don't buy it myself very much. I think he knows more than he's saying, but I don't know if I'm straight up saying he's not amnesiac either. No, that's not where I wanted to go. Damn it. The safe with a dial lock on it. We won't be able to open it until we know the right numbers. I can't just say how the characters are feeling. It makes me feel angry. I know that reference. Alright. This is the bathrooms. There's the light switch. Hey, Junpei, you're a Taurus, right? What? Why? Well, you're so well organized. Most people won't bother to search something that didn't seem to mean much. I like the little references if you click on something enough times. An antique vanity. There's nothing in the drawer. Yep, totally empty. Music stand. Seems a good place as any to put the music we found. Just gotta put the ceramic plate on the bottom, and then stack the glass plates on top of it. Alright, good. Oh, I thought we'd had to combine them to do that. It just did it on its own. Sweet, I can play the music. Junpei, would you be so kind as to play the piano? I'm unable to, you see. I'm sure he didn't tell you, but the keys on this piano are not what you might expect them to be. C won't be C, D won't be D, and so forth. Let's listen carefully to determine which keys to strike. Understand? How am I supposed to know what the keys are? I don't know music. Yeah. Alright, let's give this a shot. Okay, so it's gonna show me. Cool. Alright. So, you're the that note. Okay. Oh, that's convenient. Just straight down the line. Alright. I'm gonna do something real fast. No, I was gonna use my notepad to do something tricky, but I think that's this one. Okay. That's this one. No, that's not the. That's not it. We have full Ocarina of Time. Never go full Ocarina of Time. I mean, yes, you should go full Ocarina of Time. All right. I kind of just gotta peck around to find out if I get the right one. Wait, can I hit these? These don't work at all. Interesting. Nope. I'm trying to click faster than the game's letting me, and it's not doing it. Oh, that doesn't work either. What the hell? That's clearly not it. Oops. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Oh, it's this one. Right, okay, it was right there the entire time, and I was like, duh, it couldn't possibly be that one. Yes, it can, Haven. Okay. Okay, that one, 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 that one. Hey, I managed it. Yay me! I should go into a career as a pianist. And we're done! Music's not my forte, but wait, what was that noise? Junpei! We did it! Looks like it worked! I heard something unlock over by the exit. Let's go! Good plan. Stand! Bow! Be seated! Well, I guess he hasn't forgotten that. At least Snake thinks it's funny. Yes, I suppose that was the classroom bell, wasn't it? I don't imagine that was Zero thinking of, however. No, Zero certainly meant to suggest Westminster, not middle school. Westminster? The palace in London, that plays host these days to the Houses of Parliament. You've heard of Big Ben, the famous clock tower, yes? Big Ben plays a very collection of notes on the hour. London? The capital of England, huh? At any rate, the door is now locked. Let's leave this place immediately. Alright. Oopsies. It's a bet. Don't know if it's real important, though. Leaving! Alright. Let's go! Wow! We did it! I was expecting more. I was like expecting that to lead to another room that had the real lock. That actually is an excellent place to take our final break of the day. So get up, stretch whatever you need to do, be able to keep watching comfortably, and I will be right back.